tous les morceaux, mais un moment.
Des morceaux.
Oui.
Okay. So we will try to make short breaks to give some French during your introduction. And,
Very good.
So here is Bill Brown who will introduce the film and made important work of preservation and restoration on the film, which is a whole story in itself, and that perhaps you want to tell us about.
So thank you, Arnaud, for inviting me and Katie to be part of this act, Act 3. I am sorry I cannot speak French well enough to present in French. So I will do my best. 5 or 6 years ago, Arnaud showed me a DVD of a 1974 Super 8 film of Hessie by Mythia Kolesar. The film appeared to be mostly abstract, with veils of graphic texture obscuring images of Hessie posing and performing. Arnaud knows that I am an experienced film preservationist and asked if there was anything that could be done to improve the quality of the image on the DVD. At first I thought the graphic effects were intentional, but Arnaud learned that the film had been damaged in a flood and that it was water that had created the abstraction. So I volunteered to try to take a look at the copy of the DVD, and I brought that to my studio to see if I could improve the image. Maybe you want to translate, and perhaps you can explain where you got the DVD, Arnaud?
So the DVD was brought to me by Amarante, I think, by Hessie's daughter, and it belonged in Hessie's archives, the DVD. And so that came through the family. Est-ce que vous avez compris?
Oui.
C'est bon? This? Okay. So it's okay, we can continue.
Okay. A year or so after this, Arnaud wrote that he had found the actual Super 8 film, and he sent that to me. Now, where did you get that film from?
So it's also a film which was in the archives of the Hessie's family. It's the same origin.
Very good. Well, because I'm very interested in Hessie, and because I'm happy to be part of Arnaud's gallery and to do anything with him, I used my own resources and time to make a high-resolution scan of the Super 8 film and produced a much improved video. The water damage textures were still evident in the improved version, but they made the colors more vibrant and made the images of Hessie more visible. And we were very pleased. And I think, Arnaud, you showed the film some?
So the film was shown a lot of time, I must say, and it seemed to be almost the official film of Hessie, and it became quite famous, even in this strange condition.
Just this year, Arnaud obtained another Super 8 print of the film, but this one was not damaged by a flood. So we started again and scanned the film and began what turned out to be an adventure collaborating to restore the film and resolve several problems and discrepancies between the two film prints. Now, did this film also come from the family archive?
This film came from in French we say l'ayant droit of Mythia Kolesar, the person who owns the right to, not the estate, but something like that. And perhaps perhaps I should say that this film also as a first story before we met him, because it was shown at Hessie's solo exhibition in the Modern Art Museum of Paris in 1975. It was also shown in her solo show in Sweden, what's the name of this museum? She had a solo show in Sweden, and it was shown. Sorry, I forgot the name just now. And also in New York, apparently it was shown in the States, probably during the show that Aline Dallier organized at the IAR Gallery in I think 1976, if I'm not wrong. And so, but it happened that none of those places, Lund, the place in Sweden is Lund, and none of those places has kept any archive of this film. So the film seemed to be like a legend before we got any relation to it. And so that was a short pre-introduction. Sorry.
That's great. Well, the undamaged print that was unaffected by the flooding has a different soundtrack than the first print. The first print features a poetic associative soundtrack in English with Hessie's voice, but the undamaged print has a similar but different text in French with Mythia's voice. Reconciling the two versions was complicated by the fact that the voices were recorded on each film at different speeds, and each film was scanned to digital at yet other different speeds. All this meant that the films didn't line up when played together. It also meant that the voices played at the wrong speed, at the wrong pitch. It made Hessie sound like an old woman or a man at one point, I think. I can't remember which one it was. Here's a short video where I adjusted the speed of the image so that the two versions play together. And you can compare the images of the flood damaged version with those of the undamaged film. And you can see that the damaged one is very beautiful, but it's not really the film that they made.
Indemage, ça veut dire.
So that's the end.
That's the end. It's very short. And there are sections in the whole film where you can barely see any of the underlying image, and there are very few sections that are unaffected by the water damage. But with the new undamaged film, Arnaud found a company in Paris to scan the undamaged Super 8 film, and he sent the digital file to me in New York. Comparing the two films, I discovered that the undamaged film has a whole section that is missing from the damaged film. And the damaged film itself has a few seconds of image missing from the undamaged film. So they didn't exactly line up. So even after adjusting and matching the speed, it was still a challenge to match the two soundtracks to the picture. Further challenging was that the sound originally was recorded on both films in very poor quality. And it is hard to understand either Hessie's English or Mythia's French. Now, I'm just guessing here because I don't really know and I'm not sure anybody does. But I'm imagining that Hessie and Mythia made the film together, even though the film is officially directed by Mythia and Hessie is officially the subject. I suspect that together they decided what to shoot, then Mythia edited the footage, and that Hessie wrote or improvised the soundtrack, recording directly onto the film print while projecting the film. Then I'm imagining too that Mythia recorded the French version more or less following Hessie's English text, but translating to French and improvising her own interpretation of Hessie's poetic and evocative words. So even after I did an audio remix to make the words and sounds clearer so you could hear them better, we thought it would be best to make subtitles in English and French for both versions. And this led to a fascinating collaboration between myself and Arnaud of deciphering and translating the words we heard in French and English. Sometimes Mythia's French phrases helped us understand Hessie's English phrases, and sometimes it was the other way around. Eventually we came to better understand the words in both languages and the relationship to the images. In the end, we made 4 versions of the film: Hessie Survival Trance in English with English subtitles, Hessie Survival Trance in English with French subtitles, Hessie Trance Preservationist in French with French subtitles, and Hessie Trance Preservationist in French with English subtitles. Now recounting our restoration journey is interesting, but it doesn't really give a sense of the powerful, beautiful, and meaning content of their film. But hopefully the restoration allows us to better experience Hessie's evocation of existential questions, musings on time, invisibility, anonymity, diaspora, nature, and graphic expression. Tonight we will show Hessie's Survival Trance in English with French subtitles, and immediately following the film, Katie will perform a painting inspired by Hessie and Mythia's film and by Hessie's work in general. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.